Call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item is the moment of silence to be led by the Board Vice President.
As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a 60-second moment of silence to reflect, meditate, or engage in any other silent activity. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Reese Folmar, a 5th grade student from Arrowhead Elementary.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi. I am Reese Fulmer and I'm from Arrowhead Elementary. I'm in the 5th grade. My favorite thing about school is being able to learn from different teachers. I have 2 teachers right now. Yeah.
Have you been here the entire time? Have you been here K through 5?
I have. I've been from, I think, 5 to now.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
What do you like the best about Arrowhead?
My friends mostly. They're really nice to me. And they like to talk a lot.
You get to talk a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, we're going to take a picture with you if you don't mind. You're
Okay.
pretty famous right now.
Next item on the agenda is the formal adoption of the agenda. I have not had any concerns brought forward at this time.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to formally adopt the agenda. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item on the agenda are the minutes of December the 8th, 2014, regular meeting minutes. Are there any questions or comments regarding the minutes?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the December 8th, 2014, regular meeting minutes. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item, under Summary Awards and Achievements, Dr. Mendenhall.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'm come to you tonight to just say thank you. Today, or actually this week or this month, is School Board Appreciation Month, and just wanted to kind of extend my thank you to you. I know that the pay is so good that you spend a lot of your time up here with us. We have a subcommittee process, kind of letting the audience understand that there's not just a commitment of one night a month. It's actually a huge commitment. It's a commitment of a lot of time and energy in really understanding what the school district does. We have once a month we have subcommittees. Those subcommittees are basically made up of the divisions of our school district, and 2 of the board members serve on each one of those. During that time, that gives them a chance to ask questions and kind of get informed on what's going on in the school district. The other things that they do is many countless hours of activities and different things of that nature. So we do appreciate what you do. I'm going to give you a few things that are kind of interesting. I thought this might be helpful for you guys to know kind of the things that have occurred just the time since I've been here with you. First off, we have really 2 board members that are serving in their 2nd term. Ms. Cheryl Kelly is our board president, and she's serving in her 2nd 5-year term. We also have Mr. Jerry Denton doing the same. He just basically is running unopposed. There was no one that signed up, so he will be officially starting his new reign of 5 years next month is when it's actually official. So that's very nice. The 3 other board members are in their 1st term of office. So do appreciate that. I know that it's sometimes an awful thankless job, and we do appreciate it. During your timeline or time frame that you've been here, you have commissioned me to do a strategic plan. It's probably one of the very best strategic plans that I've been a part of, just simply because it really drives the direction of our school district. You've also commissioned a long-range planning committee, which makes a lot of great decisions and makes recommendations so that you can make decisions. Remembering that this committee really spends a lot of their time in data-driven decisions and looking at not only the direction of the district, but the long-term direction. Everything from bond issues to land acquisition to anything else that we ask them to do, they're willing to do. The other thing that I felt like was very important to mention is that we have done a great job, and this is a direct reflection of your vision from the district at the district level, is that we have collaborative processes in place. We spend a lot of our time making sure that we not only just have a committee, but a committee that means things, that actually will be a decision-making committee. So do appreciate the collaboration. The culture in Broken Arrow Public Schools has been very, very good. We have spent a lot of time working with not only our staff, but also our students to make sure that this is a very good place. So thank you for what you do. I appreciate what you do. I know that, again, sometimes it's thankless, but I think one of the things that you all do well is you take every interest of a patron into consideration. You listen to them intently, and then you push that back into the organization so that it can be dealt with. I can tell you from each person, and those of you that know our board members know that they truly care about our district, they care about our kids, and really want to help. So again, thank you, and I appreciate being able to stand up here today and really talk about not only your accomplishments, but also where we're going and what we're doing into the future. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Dr. Mendenhall, I just want to make a quick comment. Certainly want to thank you for your comments here, and on behalf of the Board of Education, I know that at times, we speak as individuals, and at times we speak collectively, but I think I can take the liberty to say it's an honor to be a part of the board here for Broken Arrow Public Schools. This is a tremendous school district. We have tremendous patrons, tremendous staff members, and so I want to make certain that you're aware that we're very appreciative. Thank you. The next item on the agenda are the comments from the public. Seeing that we do not have any, we'll move to the next item, which is the general consent agenda, items 8 through 22. Just to let the board know, I have not had any questions related to the consent agenda come forward.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the general consent items 8 through 22. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes. Next item under Superintendent Board of Education Communications, Dr. Mendenhall.
Yes, tonight, on my second item, I wanted to bring to you our One Voice Agenda resolution. One of the things that has been very helpful is that the Tulsa Metro Chamber has done what is called kind of a legislative agenda development process. And as they have done this has been one of those things that has really driven our school districts and also driven our areas of economic development around the Tulsa area. I want to give you some ideas or some thoughts about some of the things that have happened since they've done this. 495 people participated in the One Voice Task Force meeting. They've developed this agenda for the last, at least 5 to 10 years, and it's been a very positive process. 92% is the percent of task force participants satisfied with the ability to help craft policy situations. As you know, that when you begin to go through a process like this, it's very important that people have a voice, that they have a collaborative voice, and they do provide that opportunity. The participation in this has not only been school districts, but it's been other entities. We've had everything from city municipalities. We've had other chambers in the area. And I'm happy to tell you tonight that the agenda includes a list of the top 10 state and top 10 federal priorities for our state or for our area. State priorities included on the agenda in education specifically include preserving and increasing education funding. In fact, that's the #1 priority on this list. The second one is implementing a robust Oklahoma academic standard. So both of those are specific to education, and I am in full support of the One Voice agenda and what we've done in the past, but also the involvement that we've had. So tonight, I'm asking the Board of Education to support the One Voice agenda through this resolution, and then I'll try to answer any questions that you might have on this agenda topic.
I think the important thing here, Dr. Mendenhall, and you did a great job of mentioning it, is the participation by our business community and certainly our parents, very, very vital in establishing the next steps for public education. The One Voice has been a tremendous opportunity, certainly for us as educators, to get involved in the direction of our legislative goals. And as we said, you've got to start somewhere. And although we're not where we need to be, certainly I believe this is something that we very definitely as a board and community certainly can support. So I just wanted to certainly validate some of the things that you were talking about, Dr. Mendenhall.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and second to improve the endorsement of the 2015 One Voice agenda. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes. Dr. Mendenhall.
The next item is a resolution called For the People, and I can tell you that I worked firsthand on this proposal. It's called what's called a vision for all children in Oklahoma, and it's for the people. In 2012, the Cooperative Council for Oklahoma and the OSSBA, which is the Oklahoma State School Boards Association, basically developed a goal. And the goal was for us to kind of come up with a plan of, if we don't like this, then what in education and public education do we really feel like needs to be done? And so with that, we built a support for an educational vision through different stakeholder groups. This is founded on research-based initiatives proven to positively impact student learning. We developed a document that educators, parents, and business leaders and policymakers will embrace as a proactive, positive educational vision. Now, I'm going to show you a video of this, and I think it will tell you a lot about what this vision is for Oklahoma. And what a great day for us to actually look at this, because today we had transition at the state level. In fact, I got a text right before I sat down in my seat from our now elected state superintendent, Ms. Joy Hoffmeister. And she's very excited about the direction that we're going, but also will use this vision policy. And so it's very nice that we're going to be able to look at this as a board tonight. So let's show the video real quickly, and then I'll answer any questions that you'll have.
When you talk about education.
When you talk about education.
When you talk about education.
You're talking about me.
Talking about me.
You are talking about me.
You are talking about me. You're talking about me.
When you talk about public education.
You're not talking about a faceless institution.
I am the face of education. I am the face of education.
I am the face of education.
I am the face of education.
I may not understand educational budgets or the politics behind decisions
or the impact of testing,
but the result will shape my education.
It will shape if I love to learn, if I will follow my dreams.
I may not understand the conversations you have about education,
but I feel the outcome.
I can't make these decisions.
I can't make these decisions.
But you can.
You can.
You can.
Will you join the conversation about my future?
You walk into most schools in Oklahoma and you will find something positive happening every day.
Public education is the foundation for everything that we do in this country. And it's built on that foundation of public education and public education for all.
Nobody suffers from you being smart. Nobody suffers from you having an education. We all benefit from you being a productive member of society. Here recently, education has become less focused on the individual and more the numbers behind that individual.
I think in a lot of ways we're teaching kids to go pick that right answer out of A, B, C, or D. It's definitely more information given to the students. They're definitely exposed to more type of curriculum, but there's less of critical thinking and decision making.
We've got to look at a way to evaluate a child from the beginning and how we move that child forward.
We're getting away from what the problem is, and that's helping kids be the best they can be. We've got to look at the kids first, and we've got to listen to them, because they will tell you if they're being successful. It just all comes down to we've got to start working together. I mean, I don't think it's a lost cause. We can't let it be a lost cause.
The Visioning Project is really a jumping off point. It's a conversation starter. Hopefully it will bring all the partners to the table to talk about public education and what we can do to improve it.
Public education has become this adversarial conversation, when in truth, when you sit down individually, and I have with all these different stakeholders, there's a commonality in what our goals are. And I think the Visioning Project will give us that opportunity to define common goals and bring us forward together as stakeholders.
I'm not sure that everyone trusts educators to do what's right for children. That's why I was so excited about this project. When people see the success that we're having, I would hope that that then causes our communities to trust us, because every community is different. But the bottom line is every district needs to figure out together what's good for their kids, examine the project and figure out where they want to begin, and then get their educators and their community involved, because we can't be successful if we don't have our community and our businesses and our patrons involved with us in it. We can't do it alone.
The school can't exist without the community, and the community needs to be involved with the school.
We've got to make the connection that each one of those students is important.
It has to start with us. We have to be what we want. So if we want them to be successful, we want them to take their education seriously, then we have to take it seriously. And we have to take our commitment to that solution seriously. The role that you play, however small it may be to you, it might be a big role in the life of a kid.
I have dreams for the future.
I have dreams for the future.
I have dreams for the future.
These dreams require education.
They require an education that won't fail me.
The stakes are high.
The stakes are high.
From teachers
To administrators.
To school board members.
To parents.
To the community.
you all have a role to play.
Let your voice be heard.
Let your voice be heard.
Shape the face of education.
Shape the face of education.
Say yes. Say yes.
Be part of the conversation. Say yes.
Say yes.
Do whatever it takes to build up the students and teachers in my school.
In my school.
And mine.
In mine.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Embrace a new vision for public education. That's for all people. For all children. For me.
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 I don't know, you just can't help but to smile after you watch something like that. I mean, I want to adopt like 2 of them. The ones that can't say their O's yet, I want those guys. You know, it's one of those things that I think we've been talking about for so long, is that, you know, there are politics, there are things that we do as adults that have sometimes nothing to do with kids. And what I would tell all of us is that really we need to kind of revert back and really make sure that when we do make decisions, whatever those may be, they have to be about the kids and making sure that we're doing the right things for our kids. You know, this is a kind of a stepping off place to really begin, like they say, a conversation in our own local community, in our own local school district, to really begin to do things that really make sense for us. You know, see, there's an issue, because I think what's happened in public ed, a lot of policymakers have tried to fix the entire problem altogether. We are all unique, and when you're unique, that means that there's got to be a unique plan for your own community. We are unlike other communities. We are unlike other school districts. So I hope that this will challenge you. The information is going to be posted on our website. It is a pretty big read. There's lots of information in it. It's got very good reference materials. There are some sections in it, and I want to kind of mention this, and then I'll close with this. The first section is about culture, climate, and organizational efficacy. The second section talks about early and expanded learning opportunities for student success. So they talk specifically about those ideas and how best practices are in those. The third section is about governance, leadership, and accountability. Fourth section is about learning, teaching, and assessment for student success. Very, very interesting part of that one right there is it will talk about testing in there. It will talk about what the recommendations for assessment and testing are. So that may be something that we want to make sure that we have a good look at. The fifth section is partnership for human capital and organizational development. Number 6, fiscal resources. And then the last one is financial resources. You know, I had the great opportunity to work with this group of people to help research and look at each one of these areas. I actually was on the committee about partnership for human capital and organizational development. And within that, we had lots of great conversations that really will help drive, I think, what educational policy will look like into the future. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you may have. Again, we will have this online and give not only you, but also people from the community a chance to peruse that.
I did want to make the comment that the Board of Education and the superintendent in this endorsement will be signing that endorsement. And so that will be certainly something that is currently being reported through the OSSBA's website, and I'm certain it's also probably going to be communicated on the Cooperative Council for School Administrators website as well. But anyway, just to let you know, to give you that information. Any other comments or questions?
Dr. Menal, I appreciate the OSBA for putting this vision together, because over the last years of what we've had as far as reform, we've been kind of reactive instead of having a vision and a plan. And hopefully we get a seat at the table, because I feel we can do better in Oklahoma City than what we've got. We can do better locally, and through our associations and our teachers and our parents, and hopefully we'll make a difference.
So interesting. You saw Joe Ciano and some of the, actually, Ann Kane, the superintendent at Stillwater, and Norman, both of them have been in education almost 40 years. Actually, Joe, I think, has been over 40 years. And he said it's really the first time in his understanding and knowledge of what's gone on in education, specifically in Oklahoma, that we've had anything that's been written like this, that's been this comprehensive. So not only have we, raised a red flag on a lot of issues and a lot of reforms, but we've also said, okay, these are some things that we think we can do to fix it. These are some ideas and thoughts that, if you're going to talk about testing and assessment, these are our recommendations. These are the things that we feel could help. So I'm kind of proud of the product, just because it actually kind of puts, keeps you from talking all the time and tells this is actually some things that we could do to actually make it work. So very proud of the product.
If there aren't any other comments, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the endorsement for the people, a vision for Oklahoma public education. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Yes, I believe our next item is to discuss and vote on the motion to approve or disapprove the appointment of Ms. Kelly as the OSSBA Legislative Liaison for the 14-15 legislative session. This position basically is the voting delegate, I believe, as a legislative liaison. She will be receiving the email updates along with video streams and alerts regarding the 15 legislative session. And as you guys know, there's a lot that happens once they get into session. I mean, it's almost an everyday type of situation. So the nomination is basically for her to kind of represent the board and make sure that, if there's things that are needed or that she needs to go to Oklahoma City, that she represents you in that facet. So, Ms. Kelly, it may be that you have some other thoughts or other things you want to share with them. But
No,
I wanted to.
I don't. It stands on its own here.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the appointment of Ms. Cheryl Kelly as the OSSBA Legislative Liaison during the 2014-15 legislative session. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item, Dr. Mendenhall.
Yes, ma'am. We have item number 26, discussion motion and vote on motion to approve or disapprove the attached PTA resolution. This is one of those that I feel like kind of all the stars are aligning. Anytime you can get the PTA, the Board of Education, and OEA and all of the others kind of to align in the same direction, and the Administrators Association, and we all agree, that's pretty big. And so this is one of those that it has to deal with really about the testing. And I wanted to kind of bring this to your to the forefront. We actually have a couple of our PTA. We have our PTA president. I want to say vice president, Brenda, is that right? President-elect. I would like for you guys, if you want to just speak from where you're sitting and maybe talk a little bit about what you guys have been involved in that might be helpful to the board and all of us to know on that.
Well, as I said, this resolution came about, actually it started here, right here in Broken Arrow. One of our own schools came together and had some real concerns about the high stake testing that we are doing with our students. So they brought the resolution forward, brought it all the way up to the state board, which we then voted on, and we then took it to our convention body, which consisted of about 450 people, that they have voted to approve this resolution. The resolution basically is saying that we as parents feel that the high stake testing that we are doing to our children is not beneficial. It causes them undue stress. It is not a good snapshot of what their learning capabilities are. So we are asking for a moratorium on high stake testing. So one of our goals is to now present this to all of the different boards of education. Currently, it's my understanding there have been 8 boards of education that have accepted this resolution so far. And if this board chooses to do it, you will be one of the first big 6 to accept it. So we're just asking for your support. Our goal, our long-range goal, is to start working with a legislator to bring this forward as a bill that may possibly then affect the outcome. But again, as parents, we feel that we are not doing a justice to our students by giving them high-stake, one-time tests.
Thank you very much. You know, I think the thing that is really interesting about this is that they've done their research. I mean, if you look at the resolution, they've really, you know, they look at, you know, an accountability system should include multiple indicators of educational quality. Assessments should not be used for high stakes determination such as grades, promotion, or graduation. The Oklahoma Parent Teacher Association calls for the state of Oklahoma to re-examine public school accountability systems in our state and develop a system based on multiple forms of assessment evaluation, which does not require extensive standardized testing, more accurately reflects the broad range of students' learning, and is used to support students and improve schools. You know, and I can go on and on. It's a whole page of that. But what I would tell you is that not only have they done their research, is when I talked with our COSA folks in Oklahoma City and our State Association for Administrators, they were very much behind this. They felt it very strongly that it was the right direction to go. And so I have to applaud the ladies in the room that have actually started something really small here in Broken Arrow and has grassroots and has expanded into our state PTA, and now other school boards and other parts of the state have taken this on. I will say that we have had conversations with Superintendent Hoffmeister, and she understands that has a nice ring about it. I don't know about you guys, but it just made me happy to say that. It's kind of one of those that she knows that there's, it didn't take us overnight to get here, and it's not going to take us overnight to get out of this. But she does have a strong opinion that local control is very huge, and that should be a priority, and that moving back to that and making the assessments more of a local issue could be very good. The other thing that's very interesting about this is that, in fact, if you read the newspaper today, she actually noted that end of instruction is also high on her list. And she felt like that the ACT, which is a meaningful test, could be something that could be not only measured, but also have some longer lasting and better, you know, a test that actually means something for the long haul. Remember that our universities don't look at the end of instruction. They look at an ACT score. So making those changes, we've got an uphill battle, but I will tell you, this is kind of one of those first starts, the beginning of something pretty great. And so to me, I bring this to you tonight to recommend it to you and recommend that you approve it.
Dr. Mendenhall, just a point here. We are going to post the For the People on the online district's website. I'm assuming that we would do the same with the PTA resolution.
Absolutely. I think the best thing is to make sure that this is front and center so people know what it is and what we're standing for. So yes.
Any other questions or comments?
I just want to thank our PTA parents and representatives for taking the passion to do this. And I know as a parent, I appreciate it, and very much so as a board member. So I recommend approval, by the way.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the attached PTA resolution. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes. Next item.
And I know it seems like I'm going to be up here all night, but I know I'm between you guys and Oregon, Ohio State, so I'm working very hard.
We got an hour.
Go Ducks, by the way. So now you know where my allegiances lie. The third quarter strategic plan update, I mentioned it earlier today, but I wanted to, or earlier in my presentations, but I wanted to give you our third quarter report. This is the time that we actually go through and actually present to you what we're doing. Our cabinet members, they spend about 2 or 3 minutes, and I know it takes us a little time, but I will tell you that, again, a living, breathing document like this has things that are going on constantly, and I think you need to know what the details are before we just jump in there and approve a plan. So with that, what I'm going to do is ask our team leaders to come on up, if you would, and line up. I know that Dr. Dunlop is first, and then I believe that who would be second? That would be Mr. Dwayne Thompson, maybe. Mr. Fager, come on up. See, they're like students, somewhat, you know. I will say that as we've worked on this, it's been one of those things that we have learned a lot through the process. There are some things that we will take away, some things that we will add. So be patient with us as we work through it, and we'll try to go quickly through this. Dr. Dunlop.
Okay, good evening. I think I need to start on like the second or third slide. Okay. Starting with the first strategic action plan with teaching and learning. This action plan was 1.1.2, and it was to establish and maintain partnerships that allow students to gain real-world application of curriculum. These partnerships will be collaborative, mutually beneficial, and address community needs by providing experiences that include students, educators, families, community members, community-based organizations, and/or businesses. Since we created our strategic plan, one of the biggest key things that we did, and I know Dwayne Thompson spoke about this in finance, but was the hiring of Amanda Summers. Because when we hired her, she became the Director of Community and Fund Development. And so with that, 2 of these first key points have been met through her efforts. The first point being streamlining the process to recruit and document volunteers, and the second one being offering opportunities to volunteer or gift in-kind services without monetary donations. Up to this point, we really didn't have any way to track that. And I think Amanda has a few things that she would like to share with you, and then the last 2 bullet points I'll share with you after that. But she's going to do about a 30,000-foot view of some of the things that she's done in streamlining the process.
And I will keep it very high level because the volunteer component that we added was the Volunteer Tulsa that we approved, I think, in October. And so that system is up, it is running. However, there are a lot of data points to actually get in there. So it's going to be a little bit of a, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. And so we're inputting information and job descriptions for 27 sites. And then we're going to try to drive our volunteers there. So fewer touches, and it's certainly going to be easier to track that data and actually get some good information out of it. But just to give you an idea, right now what we're doing is kind of troubleshooting, determining what the workflows will be and what's going to be best for each site, because each site is different and operates differently, and that's okay in this situation. But to give you the timeline, currently through May 2015, we're solidifying that infrastructure and planning for a fall of 2015 rollout. We'll continue to build out that component. And then August of 2015 through May of 2016, we're rolling it out, and that's when we're going to establish our year one baseline, and then we can actually track the data against something moving forward. So we're really looking forward to that, and that way we can determine some year-over-year increases as well. And then the other component that I'll talk about real quick is to offer volunteers or other organizations the ability to gift in-kind services rather than a monetary donation. Partners in Education is already in place. It's been in place for a very long time. And so our recruitment and our retention will actually focus on their philanthropic traditions. And so we'll go back toward an adopt a school model, really working with the staff, the counselors, and the principals to determine what they might want in a mentorship program, working with the high school to develop internships and some community service partnerships so that we can get involved with the community and they can get involved with our students in that dynamic. So thank you.
Okay, and the final 2 bullet points. First of all, the reaching out to the community for more partnerships with students. As Amanda mentioned, our Career Explorations program is in full swing, and we have a lot of students going out into our businesses and our organizations in the Broken Arrow area, getting some hands-on experience that carries them on either to college or career from that point. We also continue our partnership with our local agencies such as our firefighters and police officers. They volunteer time, they come in and read to kids, so we continue those partnerships. A key point of development that we've had recently is our Intro to Manufacturing, where we have our Manufacturing Advisory Board. We have local businesses that own manufacturing businesses that are coming in and advising us as we develop that program for our high school students. We also have the Science Olympiad that is now in full development with Gail Hahn at Oneida Ridge, and that is, again, in full development. We have all sorts of volunteers coming in and volunteering their time to work with kids as they develop their projects. And then, of course, we continue to have our site partnerships where we have reading tutors and we have local churches who are coming in and mentoring students, and we continue to develop those. I know we're in the process right now of trying to develop a partnership with Life Church where they'll provide some mentors in some of our schools. So that gives you an update of where we are in that portion of it. And then the final portion of that is our partnerships with our higher education, TCC, NSU, OU, and TU. With Tulsa Tech, we of course have our Intro to Manufacturing. We are expanding our Accelerate daily with our TCC. They actually can't keep up with our need. And we are also in the discussion with NSU for online concurrent classes. With NSU, we still have our partnership where we have student teachers. We get to bring those best and brightest student teachers into Broken Arrow schools first before other local school districts get to. And then with TU, of course, we had the MSP grant where we were able to train all of our teachers in science and ways to incorporate STEM into our classrooms. Okay.
I wanted to report on the human resources. We had 3 action plans that we looked at completing in the second year of the strategic plan. The first one, 2.1.1, was to enhance the district's benefit program to recruit, develop, and support a dynamic workforce, which will enable all students to be successful. We had several different initiatives that have been ongoing, really, for the last couple of years. We're currently in our 3rd year of a relationship with Empathia, who provides our employee assistance program. And we've been very pleased with the results that we've had. We've had anywhere from a 4 to 8% participation rate on the part of our employees in this program. We've gotten excellent customer service at the administrative level from Empathia. So at this point, I will be entering into negotiations with them to move forward with them for another year. Rather than putting it out for another request for proposal. I think I would like to continue that relationship, so we'll be moving forward on that. We've implemented now along with finance, 2 new tuition reimbursement programs. Initially, we brought on the certified employees, and just this month now we're going to be bringing on a support staff tuition reimbursement program. We expect 50 to 55 certified employees to be participating in the spring semester, and 10 to 15 new support employees that will be participating. Last year about this time we were implementing a new 403B 457 plan with a new provider. At the time it was called ING. They've changed their name. They're now Voya, so we have to kind of keep up with all these name changes. This year, this spring, we'll start to roll out new investment education materials, and that'll be sent out to employees, and there'll be additional educational options for them coming up. We're now live with a new employee portal that's available to new employees to access forms and information prior to their start date and coming to their orientation meeting, so they can have a lot of that paperwork already completed. When last we spoke, we were in the process of examining a request for proposals and proposals presented by life insurance companies, and we have since awarded a contract to Sun Life for the district paid life and AD&D insurance benefits, and so we're in the process of implementing that literally as we speak, and it's going to provide a lower cost to the district and enhanced and improved benefits for the employees. The second action item, 2.1.2, was to expand our recruitment plan to include initiatives that provide a quality and diverse workforce. Again, some of these things are ongoing. Career fairs, we're introducing updated promotional materials and displays to improve the district branding at these career fairs. Ongoing use of the mentor-teacher program. We'll be hosting a district career fair in-house this summer, and we're looking at a future implementation date for a certified employee career fair that would be in-house. We'll be participating with NSU this spring in their interview skills seminar, which helps new teachers. It introduces them to how to conduct themselves in an interview process, and it gives us kind of a preview of some of the new candidates that are coming on. So it's a great way to network with the new teachers that are coming online. And as Dr. Dunlop mentioned, we participate with NSU in placing student teachers, and specifically in their EPIC program, which is a year-long internship for new teachers. And we piloted this last year, and we're doing it again this year. It's not a pilot program now. We've been very pleased with the results, and it gives us really a year-long interview with these new teachers. And then as far as a recruiting strategy, we're continuing to use a variety of technology and media platforms, such as internet job boards, the COSA's webpage, the Broken Arrow Ledger, TV commercials, and social media to expand our reach and our open position advertising. The last action plan is really kind of the flip side of the recruiting, and that's the retention. And so many of the initiatives really kind of do double duty. When we improve benefits to help attract employees, that also helps to retain employees. A couple of other things that we're doing will be this spring rolling out a support employee recognition program. Again, we talk about the EAP program. It's an enhanced benefit, but it also helps retain teachers. The mentor-teacher program, other enhanced benefits, will continue to provide a quality orientation and onboarding. Research shows that the better assimilation you do in the initial onboarding, the more likely you are to retain an employee. We've completed a staff and climate survey last spring, and we're in the process of rolling that out to the sites and developing action plans as a result of those benefits. And then we'll continue to monitor and report on turnover. We're in the process of developing those statistics now.
Okay, this is the second. We have two of these. This is the second year of the implementation of the first one, to increase state and federal funding. And as I always say, no pressure, but Amanda Summers is the end of my action plan, and that is for her to really go out and begin to competitively go after grants that we would have access to grant writing, and as well as local efforts that we've seen some of through Dr. Dunlop, and being able to acquire materials and so forth for our Project Lead the Way and that sort of thing. So just a continuation of that, but this is really the second year of that. And what we'll do is then we'll continue to evaluate that, see where we are, if there's other opportunities that we need to pursue as it relates to increasing our state and federal grants. On the second action plan was the cost comparison analysis. And basically what we've tried to do there is the first item is to review our student counts. We went through a complete review of all of our students that were transported within the district, and I would say that technology doesn't like me right at the moment, because they're in the process of making all those changes for those students, and I appreciate that, which results in additional funding. So we were able to monitor those. We also changed how we did our site allocations for the bond fund to make those more consistent. And then what we're trying to implement now, and you have seen that with, or you heard that with our auditor, is an inventory system. We started that with a few schools last year, and we'll continue to update that. And so each year, so it won't be all schools all at one time. It'll be a rotation of 5 to 6 schools that will be updating their information, and we'll continue that on a perpetual basis to make sure that that's up to date, but also that everyone has consistency with that. And then just basically anything else as we progress. There's a lot of things on the horizon as it relates to our financials that we'll try to keep you apprised of. The main one that's coming up now is that there is a unfunded liability with teacher retirement system, and that they will be telling us what portion of that is ours, even though we don't technically owe that, but according to the those who write the requirements on our financials, we will be having to report that. So it will be a significant impact for this year. Even though the overall deficit is going down, it still will impact us as well as any other school that presents on the GAAP accounting, which isn't that many. So most people don't, most of the schools don't really care because they don't report that way anyway. So anyway, we'll just try to keep you apprised when we find out that number and how that is going to be reported, and then but that will be a significant change to our financials for this school year.
I represent facilities, the action plan 4.2.2, and our task this year is to develop community partnerships that help the district and community provide and operate facilities for our partners' patrons' educational needs. As I reported last time, we continue to do this in a variety of ways, and a lot of that is just really getting to know our city counterparts and getting to understand their needs and them understanding our needs. We work together better as we know each other better, so we've started our quarterly operational meetings. Those have been very helpful. Everything from coordinating the trailers being removed from Central on Main, that parking lot replacement that's happening soon, even introducing our bond issue to them and allowing them to ask questions, which gets better information out there in the community, and coordinating their road projects that affect our schools. The other thing I think that's been extremely helpful is just them knowing who to talk to and have the conversation with. The design for Albany is going forward. They were not going to include storm sewers with that property or with that expansion. We've had those conversations. They now have included that within their design. Same kinds of things that we see on Lynn Lane. They don't always understand the importance from our viewpoint, and so I think those things have been beneficial. We're also getting better at trading facilities, so they use our Central on Main facility more. We have really pretty an open relationship where we can use Nienhaus sometimes even at the drop of a hat, whether it's a volleyball game or practice that needs to be rescheduled. And so all of those things are helping. They are things that we'll have to continue going forward. It's not something where we do it once and we're done. So we'll continue to foster those relationships.
Our goal was to find adequate time within the school day to engage students in co-curricular activities. And as we've reported out earlier in the year, this was the first year, the 14-15 school year, to incorporate 8th grade athletics, 4 of our sports, volleyball, football, basketball, and wrestling, into the school day as part of the educational process during that time. It has been so far a great success, and we're excited about the things that we're seeing happen. Very thankful for our middle school principals who have been very flexible in some scheduling adjustments and working with us through the process. We've definitely encountered some logistical challenges through the year, trying to get 5 middle schools and the right bus and transportation to the right place has been some things that we're getting better at, I think, as week by week goes by and as the new seasons have started. Our plan is to continue this right now for next year. At this time, we're not planning on adding any more sports until we work out all the kinks and make it a smoother process for our students. But so far, it's been a great success. The second thing that I wanted to add was our dance program that we started at the high school, something that we've never had before, and thanks to our new dance floor over at Westwood and dance facility, we're now able to offer that to our students. Our new instructor has done an excellent job. Again, we anticipate those students that are getting that benefit from instruction are able to carry that over into the fine arts arena, into a lot of the performing arts, and hopefully some musicals and plays and stuff throughout the year. So we're excited about that, and I see that program expanding and having great benefit not only at the high school level, but if we can get the program started strongly there, then we're able to get that down into our middle school and elementary levels one day is our goal. And then the last thing is both the freshman academy and high school are making use of their advisory academic time for those students that aren't needing the academic intervention remediation time, are now able to use that as enrichment time for our clubs. We definitely want to make it our clubs and activities open to all of our students. Sometimes if you have before school meetings or after school meetings, students that ride the bus are unable to attend those events, and now having it during the school day has opened some things up for our students to take advantage of. So again, these are all 3 things that we anticipate continuing for the 15-16 school year and far beyond.
Good evening. I'm here to report on Communications Action Plan 6.1.2. This was the first year that we implemented this action plan. And it was to increase the effectiveness of the district's communications by improving the use of technology, improving the use of existing tools, incorporating available technologies, empowering district staff, and adding additional channels as needed to reach all audiences. So a few of the highlights, some of the strategies that we implemented in achieving that action plan. Conduct research to determine the state of current communications and issues important to district stakeholders. And I think one of the most exciting things that we did over the last quarter was to engage the community and the community forums with the bond issue. We found out some things that were important to them, and we also found out ways that we could communicate more effectively on those issues and getting the word out about the bond issue. Evaluate current communication procedures and tools to determine how to increase the efficiency and effectiveness to achieve district goals. Right now, we have a really powerful tool in our school messenger system, which we traditionally have used to send out school casts via phone. We're right now researching ways to better utilize that technology to use also text messaging and email to reach our parents and also our school staff. So that's going to be a really great help when we can implement those changes. To add new channels as needed to reach all audiences. As you may know, the District News Studio is finally complete, so we're excited about that. It's in use, and video is being produced there for both in-district and external viewing. Our staff has produced some really wonderful things as well as our students, so we're really proud of that. Right now, we're in the middle of developing new programming and purchasing software so that we can bring our Channel 20, our public access channel, back up online. And so we're really excited. That should probably be up and running, depending on how things go, probably sometime in February. So we're excited about that as well. Going along with that, we also have a YouTube channel that's been implemented. That was implemented earlier in the fall. Final touches have also been placed on our district app, and so that's actually available in the App Store, and we'll do a formal rollout plan later this semester. And we've also created a district LinkedIn page, which will give us the opportunity to highlight our district as a great place to work, as well as recruit new people to come and work for the district. So we'll be working with HR to some strategies on communicating things about the district as a great place to work on that channel. We're also utilizing this as an ongoing thing, an editorial calendar. My staff meets to determine, what types of activities are going on, and we're trying to actively solicit information from our different partners throughout the district to find out what are those exciting things that are going on, what are some issues that we can help you with. So we utilize that editorial calendar to kind of keep track and plan out things as we move forward. So that's been really helpful as well. We're also in the process of developing a key communicator network through our district, so that our sites can better be a part of our communications process. So that's something that we're working on right now, and it will be implemented probably over the summer to roll out for the following school year. And then we're also really utilizing our district staff as well as community stakeholders to also provide this information about the bond issue. We're giving lots of different community stakeholder groups the information that they need to help us spread the word that it's important to vote in the bond issue and to become involved and informed in this process. We've also, another strategy was increase effectiveness of communication by district staff members by providing resources and training. This is ongoing. We provide web training for all of our site staff, departments and teachers. Lorraine Brantley is our webmaster, and she does a great job in making sure that they have the training that needed to be able to communicate via the website. She also heads up our school messenger training, so that each time that we bring on a new administrator, that they are trained and they have the proper list set up to utilize that school messenger for communication. And then obviously our team has ongoing support for graphic design, media relations, videography, photography, and the like. So we're constantly soliciting people to utilize our expertise so that we can better present the brand image of the district, and also to communicate better. And then finally, it's really important to us that we support our community partners, our district partners, in their strategic plan and action items. So as you heard earlier, Amanda's been working with Janet's team, and then we're going to be doing some things with grant writing. So along with that, we're constantly looking for ways that we can help them achieve their goals. And two of the bigger projects that we've been working on this last quarter were the One to Stay initiative that you'll hear more about, I think, this evening, and then also the school emergency response team. So those are two things that we've been heavily involved in this last quarter.
Thank you very much. I know that that was a lot of information, but again, I feel like that these quarterly reports are really the right thing to do to keep the strategic plan moving forward. We also don't forget that we will have our facilitators back late spring, early summer to actually go through our final year 2 evaluation. So just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that.
All right, next item, Mr. Daly.
Good evening. Tonight I'm going to ask the board to approve the purchase of 175 Chromebooks in the amount of $45,150 from the lowest responsible vendor, Two Trees. These 175 Chromebooks will be part of an initial pilot program at the Freshman Academy. It'll be the first pilot will be a One to Stay initiative. It'll be focused on 5 teachers at the Freshman Academy. Their students in all 6 periods will filter through these same 5 teachers and utilize their Chromebooks along with other applications that will simulate the next year's full pilot for all students one-to-one initiative. We will then take feedback and recommendations from this Want to Stay pilot back to our one-to-one committee and our instructional and technology folks, and tweak things as need be before we do the entire site as a one-to-one pilot next fall. So this is, if you will, a pilot within a pilot. We were aggressive as far as getting good pricing, and we're able to save $10,150 off of the regular MSRP on the Chromebooks. So they're roughly $232 a piece.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the purchase of 175 ASUS Chromebooks, C200MA for pilot program student one-to-one initiative at Broken Arrow Freshman Academy from the lowest responsible vendor. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, Ms. Bergwall.
Good evening. I bring for you tonight approval for a donation from the Aspen Creek PTA. Aspen Creek's PTA has looked and worked with Mr. Gilbertson to add swings to their playground and also a spinner. We are very excited about this. They have an area in their existing safe surface that they can add the swings, and so it's been a good choice to be able to do this, and something that the site feels is necessary, or that something that is wanted to get additional swings.
Any questions or comments?
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the donation from Aspen Creek Parent Teacher Association in the amount of $7,926 to the building fund for the purchase and installation of 4 swings and a Comet spinner for Aspen Creek Elementary. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item, Ms. Dias.
Good evening. Tonight I bring to you a contract agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and Educational Products Incorporation. It's basically prepackaged school supplies for Highland Park Elementary, just to give the parents some stress-free shopping and have them ready for the new school year.
Comments or questions?
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the new agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and Educational Products, Inc. for 2015 school supply contract. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Next item, Dr. Dunlop.
Good evening. I bring to you tonight a very exciting announcement in that the Broken Arrow Medical Center Foundation, also known as the St. Francis Foundation, is merging with another foundation, and as a result, our local chapter of the Margaret Hudson Project in Broken Arrow has been the recipient of a $50,000 gift of kindness from them. It's specifically for the Broken Arrow campus because it's given in memory of Mickey Taylor, who was a Margaret Hudson graduate in Broken Arrow. And again, this is an amount of $50,000. The principal there, Melissa Galloway, is putting together an advisory board made up of students and teachers who will then advise them on the best way to spend those funds. But it's a wonderful gift that will benefit the students and their children at Margaret Hudson.
Any questions?
That's a remarkable gift. That's incredible. That's nice. It's a great program.
It is.
Recommend approval.
Second. We have a motion and second to approve the donated funds by the VA Medical Center St. Francis Hospital Foundation in memory of Mickey Taylor, a Margaret Hudson graduate for the Broken Arrow Margaret Hudson program in the amount of $50,000. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item, Mr. Blackburn.
Good evening. I bring to you tonight the agreement between the Air Force in regards to our National Defense Corps that we would like to begin for the 15-16 school year, which is also known as the Air Force JROTC.
You know, Mr. Blackburn, this has been something that's been certainly it's been something that's really been valued by our community and something our community has wanted for some time. I really want to applaud you and the others who have been working on this to provide this program to our students. I think it's going to be instrumental in giving kids just another thing that they can do to stay connected and graduate and really have an opportunity for a great career.
We're very excited about it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Very grateful. Thank you. Great job.
It's exciting. It's engagement. That's student engagement. That's great.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the new application agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and the Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, National Defense Corps unit for the establishment of an NDCC program at the high school. The estimated startup fee for the program will be approximately $200,000. This amount will include the salary for a commissioned officer and a non-commissioned officer, equipment and uniforms for student participants, computers and a classroom, and then storage. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Just real quickly, I'd like to say too, I think that's, we got through that faster than I anticipated. I can tell you that's one of the very best things that I've seen us probably do in the last 5 years. This will touch a lot of lives, a lot of students will be involved. It will be very significant. So, Mr. Blackburn, I appreciate your tenacity and your work. I know that others have been involved in getting that here, but I will tell you that I think that it really reaches a student that sometimes we haven't reached in the past, and I think it will give us an opportunity for some of these kids to go on to college and begin to have opportunities when they're in college to have scholarship opportunities, et cetera, et cetera. So there's just so many great things. We will start kind of slow. It's kind of one of those things that I think if you build it the right way, it will grow, and we'll wind up with probably more students than we can handle, especially early. So I do appreciate all the time and energy it's taken. I think it's been something that Broken Arrow has really wanted for many, many years. So it really has. And so I do thank those folks that actually have worked really hard to make that happen. So thank you.
Next item, Mr. Stecker.
Good evening. This item is for a rental agreement with Northeastern State University. The purpose of this rental agreement is for us to host our high school Sadie Hawkins dance schedule for February 7th at NSUBA. The total cost of the district is $200, and this will be paid from the activity account $720.
Any questions?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and Northeastern State University for the high school Sadie Hawkins dance. Total amount to be paid by the district is $200, and it will come from the activity budget $720. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item, Mr. Fager.
Good evening, President Kelly, Dr. Mendenhall, members of the board. The first item tonight is number 34. This is a second reading, discussion, motion, and vote to approve or disapprove proposed revisions to board policy number 4050, the bullying prevention policy. I first brought this policy for a first reading in November. We had some additional work to do on it, and so I missed the December meeting on that, but I'm bringing it now for the second reading and consideration of approval. This is based on House Bill 2541, which mandates that students who bully be referred to a delinquency prevention program administered through the Office of Juvenile Affairs. And then our legal counsel recommended a few other edits to existing language for added clarity. Just for instance, one of the things they recommended is that the preferred term now is not a bullying victim, but a bullying target. So we updated the policy to include target instead of victim. So.
Any questions? Certainly this is a second read, so I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the proposed revisions to Board Policy 4050, bullying prevention. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Thank you. Next item.
Okay, the next item is number 35. Again, a second reading for discussion, motion, and vote to approve or disapprove proposed revisions to policy number 4150, which is the gun-free schools student suspension policy. Again, this is being revised to reflect excuse me, reflect changes resulting from the passage of a new law, specifically House Bill 2496 in the 14 legislative session. It allows students who are members of the JROTC and who possess or bring an inoperable weapon to school for participation in a school program, and it provided that that student has obtained prior permission from the principal and the weapon remains inoperable while at school and the weapon is used consistent with the permission granted. There were a few other changes that were included in the law, including possession of a weapon within 2,000 feet of school property or a school event, and it also expanded definitions in the policy to include school buses and vehicles. It has been reviewed by legal counsel.
And this is the second reading as well?
This is the second reading
So
as
this
well.
is an action item. Any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the proposed revisions to Board Policy 4150, gun-free schools, student suspension in Section 4, students. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Okay, the next item is number 36, discussion, motion, and vote to approve or disapprove proposed changes to policy number 4230, which has to do with possession of weapons, alcohol, and/or controlled substances or illegal drugs in school. This is very similar to the previous policy. It's a little more expansive, but it included similar language, and so it required a similar edit to allow students who are participating in JROTC to possess or bring an inoperable weapon to school.
This is a second reading, so it is an action item. Do you have any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and second to approve the proposed revision to Board Policy 4230, possession of weapons, alcohol, and/or controlled substances, illegal drugs at school in Section 4, students. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Okay, the last item I have for this evening is number 37, which I'm asking for a discussion, motion, and vote to approve the deletion of policy number 4200, which has to do with 9th grade student participation in varsity athletics. I'm not asking for a first and second read because we're asking to delete the entire policy. This is due to changes in the OSSAA rules and also in practices of Oklahoma high schools over the last several years. It's now a common practice for selected 9th grade students to participate in junior varsity or varsity athletics or in varsity or junior varsity competitions. So as a result of that, policy 4200 has become outdated and is no longer needed.
Any questions or comments?
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the deletion of policy 4200, ninth grade student participation in varsity athletics in section 4. Students, please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Just
Thank you.
Just real quickly on those are 5 policies that we'll need to get to our principals quickly because it has to do with students. So just know that will happen tomorrow morning, actually, in our administrators meeting. Those policies will be made public on our website as soon as possible because all of those have really significant impact on our school site. So just wanted to let you know that because it does change, not a lot. I mean, most of it is, was verbiage, but that need to be cleaned up. But we will make sure that our principals get those as soon as tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening. These are the financial reports through the end of December 2014. Because of the previous month's time crunch with the board meeting, November's reports are included for your information, but I'll be reporting on December's information this evening. As of the end of December, we've received approximately 45% of our state aid allocation. Our initial allocation was $45.8 million, and as of tonight, we have not received our midterm allocation adjustment. We did receive correspondence late Friday afternoon that they are working to release those updated numbers to us by the 15th of January, which also coincides with the day that we were supposed to receive our January state aid payment. At this time, we do not know if that payment that we receive this week will be reflective of our initial allocation or the midterm allocation. We're thinking that it will probably be calculated on the initial allocation, and then in February, they will catch us up to whatever the new midterm allocation turns out to be. So they are working very quickly to release those figures.
Do you have an expectation on the midterm or just absolutely no idea?
You're talking to finance people. They have an idea. Now, they may not want to share that with us, but they always have an idea. I'm sorry, Natalie. I'm sorry.
I think I'll let Mr. Thompson field that question.
Smart idea. That's why we call Natalie the smartest person in the building.
No, we know exactly what our student counts are and all of those factors. But the key is that we don't know if the funding formula, the variable factors for the state controls will go down. So while we know exactly how many students we have and all that sort of information, the key component in there is the actual funding mechanism going to go down, which we anticipate it is. So if it is, how much? And so that's the part where we can't really answer the question because we don't know all the, we don't know the total number of increase in students in the whole state. We don't know the increase in value. We do know the issue of the change in valuation and how much is chargeable in various counties. We do know that amount. But how much is added to or offset from that, we're not clear on at this moment. And that's what they're frantically trying to resolve. So while we do know our accounts, we can't say exactly how much the dollar amount will be.
Is that due to any particular situation? In other words, this is not something typically that we find ourselves addressing on a midterm basis. So, well, you know what? You probably go ahead and come up here. That would be great. Yes.
Basically, the main thing that is different this fiscal year than any other is there was legislation passed back in '92 that changed, that allowed local counties to assess at higher percentages. So what state aid was supposed to be locked into was 11% chargeable. And so if our values were calculated at 11% calculation, then what you collected locally would be taken from you through state aid as a chargeable, and that's the way it was supposed to work. Well, there were, I think, 47 out of the 66 counties across the state that have a higher percentage than 11%. And up to this point, they have been charged, so if they were at 12%, they've been charged 12%, and that is not the way the law is supposed to work. And so that has, those obviously, there's some as high as the 15%, which is the max. So their taxpayers have been paying more than they should have for, numerous years, however long it's been in place, and they're not reaping the benefit at a local level, which they were supposed to do. So that has been brought to light and really finalized through a variety of ways, and it is completely accurate. The key ingredient is, again, if that is the dollar amount that, I think it's like $20 million or something like that is the overall impact of that. Does the rest of the factors add to that, or does it take away from that? We have heard that the number of students throughout the state is less than what was anticipated. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out very quickly in the next few days. But so it is different than most years. The only, always at this time, there, when they use estimates of 1.5% growth and that sort of stuff, you don't know if that's going to be right on target, high, low, and so there's always variations. But this one has a little more significance because of the dollar amount. We have known about this for months. We just didn't know exactly how the end would be as far as the dollar amount. There's been projections a variety of ways. Stephen Crawford, who keeps up with this, all the time, has told us, the minimum it would be had been $10 a student reduction, so that's about $280,000. So realistically, that's, but that is the main difference this year, and it should have been going on all along. I can promise you into the future, other counties who haven't done it will be having that conversation to be able to keep that revenue locally, but that's the main change this year.
Thank you.
Looking at the other categories in general fund, you can see state sources are up a little bit, which is definitely a good thing considering our gross production revenue is in this category, and with the fluctuating prices of oil, that's always a topic of concern. But so far, we have not seen a negative impact from those prices continuing to fall. Our ad valorem is also just starting to come in. We'll receive our big payment in January. We've gotten Wagner County, and we're expecting Tulsa County payment to come in this week. So you'll see those updated figures in January. In building fund, again, same situation with our ad valorem payments. The only big difference from where we were last year is in our local payments, with the receipt of some rebates from PSO for our energy conservation usage. In child nutrition, all areas of revenue are up, which is a direct reflection on the increased programming through our child nutrition department. More student interest, feeding more students across campuses have all gone into the factor of collecting more revenue. General fund, obviously our largest expenses are in the salaries and benefits area. As in previous years, you might see a little bit more increase in salaries and benefits than this year, and the reason it's leveled off a little bit is the result of giving the 3% versus the 4% stipend in these areas that have remained a little bit more consistent. In building fund, pretty much everything is on target from where we were last year. We're seeing a little bit more expenditures in the supplies and durable goods area. This is primarily due to our 2009 bond funds rolling out and coming to a completion, and so we're having to utilize building fund a little bit more for some of those areas that we might have looked at bond funds. Child nutrition, again, we've coded some of the construction at the high school for the remodel of the cafeteria and the student union to child nutrition in an effort to get their fund balance down, so we don't get one of those letters from the State Department saying, what's your plan for spending down your 3-month fund balance. So that you can see that reflected in the construction area, as well as purchasing some food and commodities ahead of time for planning purposes. And we're about 6 months into the fiscal year, and so we're still looking at about a 14% fund balance.
Any questions? Thank you.
My next item tonight is to request the board to authorize an increase in our general fund operating budget. You can see in the attachment some of the items that we've received adjustments on. Pretty much all of these items were initially budgeted for, with the exception of the receipt of the ACE technology funds and the Reading Sufficiency Act. The only thing that we had budgeted for RSA funds was our carryover from previous year, and we did receive a new allocation of approximately $165,000. And in ACE technology, we're receiving about $54,000. So those two areas, we were not sure if we were going to receive the funding, and we received notification this winter that we were getting both of those items.
Okay. Any questions?
Recommend approval. Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the request to increase the general operating budget by $1,646,740.16. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, Ms. Donna Dollahan.
Good evening, members of the board, Mrs. Kelly, Dr. Mendenhall. I'm here to give you the December Treasurers Report at the end of December. Included in your attachments are November's report, since we were on a time crunch, as Miss Natalie Enith had informed you. Our cash balance reports reflects a total of $25,157,000 in assets for the district. We have investments that total $11,590,000. The Fund Security and Deposit Report shows a total of $57,406,000 in collateral that is pledged to the district. Our deposits that require collateral are $19,480,000, leaving an available balance of collateral to the district of $37,926,000.
This is an information item only. Any questions? Thank you. We move on to the next.
I'll go on to the activity fund reports. At the end of December, activity fund receipts totaled $3,514,000. Disbursements totaled $2,698,000, with an ending cash balance in the activity funds of $2,823,000.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you.
My next item is a request for approval to approve the anticipated repayment schedule of the Tiger Thread store to the Administrative Office Activity Fund. The Administrative Office Activity Fund Coke subaccount upfronted money for startup items needed in the amount of $83,727.62. There is a schedule for your perusal, and the monthly payments on this schedule will not exceed the amount stated.
Any questions on this? This is an action item.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the anticipated repayment schedule from Tiger Threads subaccount 925 in the Broken Arrow High School Activity Fund to Coke subaccount 987 in Administrative Office Activity Fund. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, Ms. Kathy Metavallis.
Good evening. My first item tonight is the change order report, which represents change orders from December 4th, 2014 to January 8th, 2015. These reports reflect a decrease of $65,873.48, and I would request your approval of these change orders.
Any questions?
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the change order reports for the General Fund, Cooperative Fund, Building Fund, Workers' Compensation, Bond Funds, Gift Funds, and Child Nutrition Fund for the 2014-15 fiscal year. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Second item tonight is the encumbrance report. Again, encumbrances showing for December 4th, 2014 to January 8th, 2015, reflecting a total of $1,638,944.06, and I would request your approval of those encumbrances.
Any questions on these?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the encumbrance reports for all funds for the 2014-15 fiscal year. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson?
The last two items relate to the superintendent's contract. Basically, as the board has been has extended the contract to 2018, the attorneys were reviewing that and wanted to add some language related to the contract, just to clarify how we were to implement the contract as it related to the Affordable Health Care Act. These are things that we're already doing. We already have it in place, but they wanted to add language to make sure that if someone was just to read the contract, that they would be able to clarify how it's being handled. So you have the first item is just to amend the contract for the remaining portion of the year, which was the January 1st through June 30th, 2015. And again, I would be more than happy to answer any questions about the changes, but they all relate to the benefits items to make sure that they're properly identified in their taxable status.
Any questions? I would entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the amendment to Dr. Mendenhall's current contract from January 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2015. The amendment is to clarify the aspects of the contract as it relates to the Affordable Care Act. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Okay, the last item is to continue that same language into the new contract, which will begin July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2018.
Any questions on this?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2018 contract for Dr. Mendenhall. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and second to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. We are adjourned.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.